You followed the training, you've built the skills, and you became the therapist. But now you're wondering, is this it? Beyond the therapy room is where we have the conversations most therapists are thinking, but not saying out loud. There's Sky, psychologist and mentor, and Ali, counsellor and tantric healer, bringing two perspectives, clinical and intuitive, structured and expansive. We talk burnout, identity, spirituality, business, relationships, and what happens when you stop playing by the rules that you were trained in. This is for the therapist who knows there's more. Two different paths, two different perspectives, but the same truth. There's more available to you than the box you were trained in.
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Therapy Room, the podcast where we explore career growth, identity, leadership, and many paths that are available beyond our initial professional role. So I'm your host, Sky, and today we're joined in this conversation with Amanda. So we might start, Amanda, if it's okay, for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
Beautiful. Yes, so my name is Amanda, and I like to say my name with my last name because most people can't get it right. So it's Amanda Boafo. Okay. So a little bit about myself. I'm a mum of two, a wife, and I'm also a proud gym.
I love that. I love you on Instagram. I follow it. It's inspirational.
So what's the second part of the question?
And a little bit about your work. So what is your work today? Because I think we're going to go through your journey a little bit of where you started and where you are now. Yeah. But maybe tell us about, where are you now in your work?
Okay, so at the moment what I focus on in my therapy room is trauma-focused work. So the word trauma does float around a lot. But for me, what that looks like is working with people that have had complex trauma of all kinds. And the kind of work that we do starts from people coming in to say that I acknowledge what I have lived through, and I am at a point where I want to do things better for me going forward. So that's essentially is the kind of work that I focus on.
I love that. So what originally drew you into the profession? And what did your career look like a little bit early on compared to now?
Yeah. So I started many years ago, over 10 years ago. And I think initially it was really the cliche word that we would say when you go into interviews is that I just wanted to help people. But what it looked like for me was that I knew I wasn't a fixer-upper. I'm not good with my hands, but I knew that I'm actually really drawn to listening to people. I'm curious about human behavior, very, very curious about human, the way people think and the way that people respond to each other. And that fascinates me. So I was drawn to the work because I was just curious to learn a little bit more about even my own human behavior and the way I responded to the world around me at the time. And I just did a bit of Google and stumbled across social work, and I was like, I'm going to give this a go. And so that's how I started.
Nice. Yeah. And so if we look at, because now it's your own business, private practice, but where did you start? Because I think a lot of therapists, they jump straight into oh my God, I'm meant to be here, when really there's a starting point, right?
Yeah. So I actually started in child protection. So when I trained in England, I'd always wanted to work with children. And it was, again, a little bit about my own story. I knew what it felt like to be a child who was unseen, a child who was rejected, and a child that had suffered harm through people inadvertently thinking they were doing the right thing. And when I grew up, I felt like this could have been done better for me. So I started in child protection because I thought I could empathize with these people who have come into the care system or are about to come to the care system, and work with the adults around them to understand that the way they treat these young people in their care can shape their lives forever.
Yeah. So I'm curious then, what has led you from being in child protection and then to move through to creating your own business? What was that process for you, and what happened within you? Was there a pivotal moment where you're like, oh, I actually want to do something different?
Yeah. there was. So the organizations that I worked with had a lot of structures, had a lot of, I used to refer to it as bureaucracy. There was reams and reams of paperwork. There was reams and reams of this is how we've got to do this, and trying to bring uniformity in the way we all practiced to deal with different individuals who had different needs. And sometimes it worked, but very often there was a bit of a friction because there was so many grey areas working with people who have had different things happen to them.
Yeah.
So the one size fits all was not going to work for a lot of the client groups that we had. You know, like I'm talking timelines. There's a timeline for writing a note. There's a timeline for presenting a case plan or what have you. But if you go and see this person and they've had a bad day last night or even the hour before you got there, and all they want to do is swear at you and shout at you and scream at you, you can't get the information you needed to be able to go back and write your notes for this case plan that needs to be done. And so how do you meet timelines when people are saying, we don't care about these things, we just want you to sit with us in the moment that we are in and get to know us and get to understand and maybe just feel some of what we're feeling. So I found it a little bit restrictive. I found it a little bit, it was well-meaning structure which had a place, but sometimes it just didn't work. And I felt like the focus had become on meeting those timelines and those goals and less on what the people needed in that time.
So would you say that that was your biggest motivation, is because I guess you were seeing the people and their struggles and what they needed, and yes, we need systems and structure, but sometimes, as you said, it kind of moves too far the other way. So was that your biggest motivation then for wanting to move into your own private practice or build your own business?
Yeah. So I felt like I could do more, but I also felt like I was restricted in being able to do more because we all had to follow that form and that structure, whatever had already been laid out. So I was curious about what else could allow me to give the people that come to see me or the people that need the support from me a bit more of an opportunity for me to build relationship with them and work with them at their own pace and not be too, confined by structures and things like that.
So when you started to get this idea in your head and you were thinking about, okay, I need to do something differently, because I know for a lot of therapists, like, fear shows up, or we kind of go into the negative first, like these are the challenges or these are why it won't work. Like for you specifically, were there those things for you? And if they were, like what showed up for you before you kind of made that leap?
Yeah, it did. So a little bit of my own personal worries and vulnerabilities came up in that space because we live in the south coast of New South Wales. It is predominantly Anglo over here. And for me as a black girl, I just wondered and I was a little bit worried. I was like, will I be able to gel with the people? I mean, I've had people ask me just, bluntly, if I do experience like discrimination and things like that. And I thought, I haven't even thought about that. But then, so some of those things subconsciously made me think that, there could be a problem with people being able to receive me because I may look and sound different to them. So those little vulnerabilities and unconscious things that I have in the back of my mind that actually are personal to me came up for me, and I thought, maybe not now. Maybe should I move closer to Sydney? Maybe, but yeah. So yeah, those were the thoughts that I had.
So what did you, because that's that inner critic, right, that shows up for all of us. What did you do with those thoughts? Like because you're here and you're on the South Coast and you're practicing and your business is actually thriving. Like you're a wanted human. So how did you navigate that to be here with us now?
Simple as I refer to what I know, and which is what I work with my clients with about, is that there's all those tiny little voices in your head, and that said that and that said that, but what do you know about you? And so just like I said, when I was asked that question initially, it was in supervision from a well-meaning supervisor. I actually hadn't even thought about my difference and how it impacted it could impact on me. I don't know. So anyway, I referred back to what I know, and I was like, well, when I work with people, they actually do receive, and we work really well together. I haven't had anyone not want to work with me or say that to me because I look and sound different to them. So I had to sort of use that as, okay, what I know factually is that it hasn't, my race has never been a barrier to my work. And so I go based on that.
I like that. So I'm curious, sometimes when we start out early in our career, we get kind of almost pigeonholed into like a professional identity, like this is who I am. And I'm curious, was there any kind of identity or expectation that you had on yourself that you had to kind of let go of in order to kind of move into your own business?
Yeah, so as a social worker, we do a lot of follow-up. It's part of our work, a lot of advocacy, a lot of hand-holding for our clients. And so for me, that was my first professional identity. I'd see a client and I'll follow up with them, and I might call an establishment to say, am I inquiring on the client's behalf and things like that. So that's something that I've had to work on in what I do now, which is I can empower my client, give them the information and hope that they will take charge and do that, as opposed to feeling responsible for not chasing up this person and chasing that person for them. It was a big, and it was part of the systems as well that was a bit tricky when I was practicing, was there was a lot of responsibility on the client thriving made on the professional who was supporting them. So that was, that's really a big shift for me now.
Yeah, when you were talking then, like when we talked on in another episode about identities and being like that overly responsible therapist, and I think boundaries is one of the most important things, and learning where that line is. Is that something that has been really important in your transition for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because yes, people do need support. However, what I've found is that the most sustainable change and the most sustainable progress that people have made has come from when they feel the need to take charge for themselves. And so that boundary of, not going way beyond what I need to do for somebody, and allowing them and trusting them that they can take it forward and do it for themselves, has been very, very remarkable for the people that I've worked with, because I've seen how they can come back sometimes weeks on week and say, I haven't done it yet. I'm like, that's okay, you'll do it in your own time.
Yeah.
And then I've just randomly, someone said something to me about how do I make this work for me, in question to me. And I was like, when you feel the need and when you're really pushed, you take that step. And then they looked at me, and I thought, I hadn't prepared that, but I thought there's always these barriers that we have, which can be, it keeps us in a bit of a, it keeps us in a bit of a cage or whatever. You stops us from going forward. It could be this, that, and someone said, or whatever or it's raining, or it's this, it's that. But until you feel that I deserve this and I need to do it for me, that first step is never going to happen.
Yeah. Totally agree. Is there anything that has surprised you in your transition into private practice and running your own business?
Yeah, I think feeling confident enough to put myself out there, being on social media, not being shy to say what I think. And like I said to you, I hadn't even prepared for what we're going to talk about today, but I just had to trust myself that, I know what I know. What I know is my opinion, and that's it. But that's been something that has shocked me. And it comes from the kind of upbringing that I had and the culture in which I was raised, which was very conservative to an extent, which was about keeping just to hide. So keep hidden, just don't share, don't make everyone too conscious about what you know and what you have. And it came out of the concept of the more people know about you, the more they have enough to hurt you. So it came out of a place of the intention was to protect you, but that could cause people to also second guess. So one of my biggest worries was for myself was that I would second guess and think that I had that imposter syndrome, which was in a different way, which was almost as if I wanted to make myself small because I felt like I didn't have what it takes to be heard or be seen. And if it was seen by somebody, it means that I could lose it all. But now I've learned that was what it was holding me back in many ways. I've learned that it came from a place which has made me feel like I needed to sort of not say what I needed to say, like I need to not share what I need to share because it didn't matter. But I think it matters because I've got feedback that it matters, and it matters for me as well. I'm one of the few women that you might know, Sky, that actually doesn't mind sharing her age.
Yes.
I am 46 years old. And for me, I woke up one day, Sky, and I was like, where do we learn that from as females? Why are we so conscious about sharing our age? And it was that misjudgment of, oh, you're old, or people look at you and might look at you differently. But then my question to myself was, so what if they do? What do I say to myself, right? So I've started doing some of these things for me, where if I feel like I've put in something that's drawing me back, I question and I ask myself, why do I do this to me? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from somebody else? Or do I feel that I need to do this? If it is coming from somewhere else or some unknown thing, the construct that I've picked up in the universe, I challenge that and I go like, I'm not doing this anymore.
I love that, because I think a lot of the therapists that I talk to really could probably relate to what you just shared of this fear of visibility or this fear of being seen. And I think it holds a lot of us back from sharing our truth. Yeah. When you think about your weeks now in your business, like what lights you up? Like, what are the things in your business that you just enjoy the most, do you think?
I love my office space.
It's actually really calming when I walk into your office space. Yeah.
I love it. So it's I love coming into work, and I can do telehealth sometimes, but I just prefer to be in that space. So that's the first thing. And I love that I get to listen to people. I feel so privileged that people trust me with their stories. And I feel like, I mean, I haven't had any feedback to the opposite of it, but I feel like when people come and talk to me, I respect their stories, and I feel like they understand that they get that respect from me as well. And so, yeah, it lights me up to see people transition. I think one of my oldest clients is 2 years and a bit now. And they've grown so much, and coming to the point where we could potentially not have any sessions, I don't know, once every 6 months or something like that. But I love that, we worked together. It wasn't, I didn't wave a magic wand, and I keep reminding this person of how much effort they put in for them. Yeah. So that transformation that I see in people keeps me going. It's lights me up. It makes me feel like this is the right space for me.
So if you were talking now to maybe some other therapists, health professionals who are maybe in that space of like they want to change, they want to do something different, but they're really scared to do it, what would be something that you would want them to know, or what would you want to share with them to support them in their transition to something different too?
I think it's about being true to who you are. What do you really want to do for you, and why do you want to do it? Because that's what's going to guide you, because it does get tough. Sometimes there are tough days. And when you do have a tough day, you want to be able to say, I'm doing this for me, and I understand the reason why I'm doing this. So it's not just about looking at, okay, I'm bored of this particular field or this working with this client group and I want to shift into something else. Your something else should come from what do you want to do for you, and you have to do that inner searching of what fills your cup.
Yes. So I don't know about this question, but I'm curious, like, what is next for you? Because I see you now, you're online and you've got this other page with your like gym stuff going on. Like, what is happening for you in your evolution in your business?
I think it's still evolving. It is still evolving. It feels comfortable now, what I'm doing now. And I think, when it changes, when I feel like it doesn't fill my cup anymore, is that word? I will sort of know where I want to go next. At the moment, I'm settled where I am. I'm settled in what I'm doing. And I possibly, I don't know. I can't see myself not working with clients one-to-one, because it's been something, it's just been amazing for me just to think about working with people one-to-one, and I feel like I'm enjoying this space so much.
I love that.
And if there was going to be anything else, it will definitely be something that involves working with clients, I believe.
I love that. So if there is one last message for listeners that they're going to take away with them, what's it going to be?
It's important to find who you are for you, and also know that everyone is shaped by their environment, and so there's always going to be bits of what we know and what we live by, which is influenced by others or the environments around us. When you start growing, it's important for you to check in with yourself and say, is this for me or is it from somebody else? Is it something that I've adopted because I accept it and I believe in it and it feels right for me, or is it more I've been told that this is the way to go?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story and your insights and your experience. But if people want to maybe continue getting to know you and what you do, how would they find you?
So I've got Instagram, Facebook. Trauma Matters to You is the business name. TikTok, I think, as well.
Yes, I love your TikToks.
I'm on there, and a website as well, so people can reach out to me through any of those mediums.
Beautiful. And if you've enjoyed this episode today and you'd love to share with us what you got out of talking with Amanda, then at Beyond the Therapy Room on Instagram, send us a message or tag us in your post. Thanks everyone for listening.